Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Ed Balls. Slams Housing Minister Matthew Pennycook on disability benefits cuts. A tense exchange unfolds on Good Morning Britain. On the morning of March 11, the usually calm studio of Good Morning Britain erupted in tension as former Labour politician Ed Balls clashed with Housing Minister Matthew Pennycook. The heated discussion centred around the controversial issue of expected cuts to disability benefits, a topic that has caused widespread concern among millions of people in the UK. Balls, who once served as a key figure in Gordon Brown's government, was joined by Pennycook and GMB presenter Susanna Reid to discuss the government's proposed seismic reforms to the housing and planning systems. However, the conversation quickly turned to a more pressing issue: the potential cuts to benefits for disabled individuals, specifically the Personal Independence Payment, PIP, which is claimed by over 3.6 million people. Reid began the segment by reading out messages from concerned viewers, emphasising the widespread anxiety among those reliant on disability benefits. One message in particular stood out. It was from a woman named Vicky, who expressed her terror over the possibility of her partner losing his PIP benefits as he battled terminal cancer. Reid's tone was one of palpable concern as she asked Pennycook for his thoughts on the matter, noting the fear of people like Vicky who face the grim reality of losing vital support. Pennycook, trying to steer the conversation back to the government's broader reforms, acknowledged the anxiety expressed by people on disability benefits. However, he attempted to reassure the public by stating that the government's changes were designed to ensure that those who need support the most would continue to receive it. "Those who need support will receive support," he said, though the words did little to quell the growing unease in the studio. It was at this point that Ed Balls, who had been quietly listening, stepped in with a direct and forceful challenge. Holding up a message from Vicky, he posed a pointed question to the Labour MP. What Labour principle could possibly justify taking money away from somebody who has an extreme disability and can't work? Ball's question was not just an inquiry, it was an accusation, one that directly confronted the politician's position on the matter. Pennycook, seemingly caught off guard by the directness of the question, responded that he understood the gravity of the situation, but asserted that the government was working towards supporting those who were genuinely unable to work, while also ensuring that those who could work had the opportunities and support to do so. However, Balls was not satisfied. "I'm talking about someone who can't work with an extreme disability. If they lose it, what principle could justify that?" He reiterated, refusing to let the matter slip by. The tension in the studio was palpable as the debate intensified. Pennycook tried to deflect, explaining that the government's position was to provide support for those who could not work while offering opportunities for those who could. But Balls wasn't having it. With an air of frustration, he once again pressed Pennycook on the same issue. What principle could justify the freezing or cutting of benefits to somebody who cannot work? The argument grew increasingly heated, with both men talking over one another, refusing to back down. It was clear that Balls was not simply questioning the government's policy, he was demanding accountability. His challenge to Pennycook was relentless. He insisted that the Labour government, if it were in power, would not allow cuts to benefits for those in desperate need. "It's a Labour government, and you can't tell us whether they will have a cut in their benefit," he said. In a final attempt to redirect the conversation, Pennycook hit back, reminding Balls of his own experience in government. "I cannot come onto this programme and preempt a government announcement," he said, referring to the fact that any decisions regarding cuts to disability benefits had not yet been formally announced. He tried to pivot back to the government's planned reforms to the housing system, but Balls, ever persistent, fired one final shot. And I think on that latter point, you've done that, so thank you for coming on and talking to us today. The exchange left viewers with much to consider, particularly the pressing issue of disability benefits in a time of economic uncertainty. Bowles had effectively put Pennycook on the defensive, and while no definitive answers were given, the passionate nature of the debate underscored the stakes involved. For many, the future of disability benefits remains a topic of great concern, and it's clear that this debate is far from over.